Hey, it's Tuesday at 2, Circle B Diecast here in Concord, North Carolina. So glad you joined us. Steve Post, the Postman with MRN, just kind of hanging out. Flew all the way back from Los Angeles. Oh, my arms are sore. The old Padum-ching comedy routine. It is great. What a great weekend. What a great kickoff to NASCAR. Ay. Man, I'll tell you what, they knocked it out of the ballpark with that one. So much fun, so much energy, so much excitement. Really good. Lots of good stuff happening, that's for sure. And we just wanted to jump right in here and say, hey, Victor joins us. Victor, what are your thoughts about the race last Sunday? I think you had three different elements going into this. I think you had the race, I think you had the car, and I think you had the event. I thought the race was solid. I'd like to see a caution toward the end of it. I'm not admitting that. That happens in racing sometimes. Joey Logano, conversely, did not want to see a caution toward the end of it. So, Joey won that one, and he won the race. And his diecast is available at circlebdiecast.com. So there. How about that for a neat little transition right into the old sales pitch for the diecast? So, yeah, get your Joey Logano race winner. I thought the race was really good. In fact, I was pleasantly surprised. And I don't know why I should not have been. I go to Bowman Gray Stadium at least once a year and watch full-size cars race on a quarter mile in a stadium. I don't know why I was expecting anything less or more than that. It was good. It was really good. So race gets 2 thumbs up. The car, the brand new car, was pretty solid. When you take and you think about every new part and piece on that car and what limited breakage and problems we had with the car. We had 2 issues with the transaxle. And Tyler Reddick is taking credit for his. They beat the crap out of those transaxles. Because warm tires were so important that they were constantly doing burnouts. When they were staging the cars, they were doing burnouts when they were moving the cars forward. So I think they put that transaxle through it, and then they were swerving them back and forth to keep heat on the tire. I think that and they run the cars most of the time, I think, in second gear. So I think when we look at what that transaxle will go through this season, that may have been the biggest test that part of the car will have had. And they had 2 fail, and Reddick he's raising his hand saying, I broke it. The part didn't fail. I just abused it beyond abuse. So you had that. Denny Hamlin, was it, that had a power steering pump, or the belt flew off the power steering? New car related? Maybe not. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. And Ryan Preece had a brake issue. New car related or not. I talked to the guy from Essex Brakes on the way back. They hadn't had a chance to dig into it yet. But when you're sitting here and you look at every new part and piece on this car, and to go out there and not have anything major happen was really good. Now, we're going to Daytona, and we're going to Auto Club, and we're going to Phoenix, and parts are going to break because the NASCAR teams will push everything to the nth degree. So parts are going to break. But I think you've got to feel really good about the car that nothing catastrophic happened. There was a little concern on Sunday morning about some engine temperature for particularly the Chevys and the Fords, and they allowed Chevy to take those little baffles or louvers off from the front just to get better circulation through there. But all in all, I think the car performed very well, and the cars look pretty good. I mean, I know that we're all twisted up about where the number is, but the cars look pretty good going around that racetrack. So I think they did well. Okay, so 2 thumbs up for the race. I'm going to give 2 thumbs up for the car. When you look at big a science project as that is, and to have it come out that good, I want to go with this too on the car. There was a lot of beating and banging, and there was no fenders down on tires, cutting tires. That's the new composite body that we've ran in the Xfinity Series the last few years. I saw those cars. They were all scuffed up down the right side, and yet the contour of the fender was the same. There were some cars where they got far enough into the wall where the scuffing was taking off the Goodyear Eagle, on the yellow lettering on the Goodyear Eagle, and yet the fender remained intact. So that fender was not down onto the tires, cutting tires down. So 2 thumbs up for the race, 2 thumbs up for the car, and those were the low grades. The event, folks, I am telling you, I was very privileged. I was one of 13 members of the media that was allowed in the infield for this event. Okay. So I was in the infield. The event was spectacular. From the heat races to the last chance qualifier, that second last chance qualifier was, I mean, somebody survived this so that we have 3 cars to transfer on. It was part NASCAR race, part demolition derby. Everybody was mad at each other. I think it's what we expected. It was just wild. You rolled into the Pitbull concert. And Pitbull, of course, and we know and we love Pitbull, he's a NASCAR guy. He's a team owner in the sport of Trackhouse, co-owner with Justin Marks. Well, he just kept the energy going. Folks, I'm telling you, when they fired the engines on those cars and rolled around that speedway, that place was coming unglued. I mean, it was coming unglued. So you have the excitement up here, and every time 2 cars would bounce off each other, you could hear the crowd go wild. It was insane. So then we get to the halftime break, and they had Ice Cube, okay? So they must have went to Ice Cube and said, you've got 6 minutes, and it better be the best 6 minutes you have ever performed, okay? Now, Ice Cube puts on a show every time he grabs a microphone. I get that. I understand that, okay? The 6 minutes he gave took that crowd that was already in the rafters, well, there's no rafters, of course, and put them higher. I mean, the place, when Ice Cube was performing at halftime, turned into a concert. I mean, everybody was jumping, everybody was screaming, everyone was singing along, everyone was hollering. Rolled the cars back out. We rolled the second half of the race. Everyone was singing, everyone was screaming, everyone was jumping, everyone was hollering. Joey Logano, he was the last one to jump up out of his race car into victory lane. And everyone was kind of like, ay, ay, ay. You were almost tired when you were done because there was so much energy. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. It was a good day for NASCAR. So it was awesome. It really was. Fun stuff. Great to be out there. Great to be part of it. And it was just really neat. Really good times. So, yeah, it was awesome. And away we go. The 2022 season is upon us, and we've kicked it off in grand fashion. By the way, the TV numbers, I'm not a guy that analyzes numbers and stats all that much, but when you've increased 168% in your ratings, I tend to think that's probably good. I tend to think so. So, I mean, all in all, just good times, that's for sure. Just good time. Daniel's checking in from the state of Washington. Love the state of Washington. I need to get back out there. I love it. I went over there a couple of years ago, went down into the Yakima Valley, and then right over the Cascades down into the Seattle area. I love it. Man, I'll tell you what. That's the thing I think is going to get fascinating with watching NASCAR over the next few years. Okay? Now, granted, the LA Coliseum is a big Coliseum, okay? It was not too small for those cars. So are there other facilities, whether we run inside them or whether we run around the outside of them? Are there other facilities we can do that at? I don't know. You know, maybe we'll go to the state of Washington. Maybe we'll go to New York City, bring NASCAR to New York City. Maybe we'll go to Cowboy Stadium, AT&T Stadium in Dallas. Maybe we'll go to Soldier Field in Chicago or a street race in Chicago. I think this just opens the door for NASCAR to go places where we never dreamed NASCAR would be. Here's the other thing that I like what's happening. While we're talking about going places that NASCAR never thought we would be, we're also talking about going back to the Nashville Fairgrounds in North Wilkesboro. I like where we're at, folks. I think we're at a really neat spot. I think we're at a spot where old tracks like Darlington and Atlanta went from 2 races to 1 race back to 2 races. I like it. I'm more old school, you know. I mean, I don't know that I can handle Ice Cube every week at the racetrack. I may freak my brains out having too much fun. But it was just a great time, great kickoff, that's for sure, and fun stuff. Let's see. Robert wants to know, is the cost of building and amount of the track a worthwhile expense for the Busch Class versus utilizing existing track that NASCAR to go on to? Yes. Here's why. I saw a lot of people said we should have taken the race to Bowman Gray Stadium. I saw a lot of people saying we should have taken the race to Irwindale. I saw a lot of people saying we should have done this and should have done that. It was the LA freaking Coliseum, the building that has hosted 2 Olympics and will be the only building in the world that will host 3 Olympics in 2028. One of the most iconic sports venues on the planet. The only place that could have equated with it is maybe the Rose Bowl, maybe the Rose Bowl, which is the same situation. I have no idea what NASCAR spent. I have no idea on earth what NASCAR spent. But I'm going to tell you, we were in Los Angeles, California during Super Bowl week that was in Los Angeles with a Los Angeles team. You know what everyone was talking about in Los Angeles last weekend? NASCAR. NASCAR in Los Angeles, site of the Super Bowl with a Los Angeles team. Everyone was talking about NASCAR. I don't know what NASCAR spent to build that facility and tear it down, but I'm telling you, there's not enough money in the bank to buy the exposure and excitement that that race generated by being in the LA Coliseum. So no, there's other places it can go and be great. There's no denying that, but it's not going to be Bowman Gray Stadium, and I love Bowman Gray Stadium. And it's not going to be Irwindale, and I've never been there, but I would love to do it, or it's not going to be this track that's already established. Bottom line is, one of the reasons this thing worked, it was right in the middle of the freaking city. That's one of the reasons it worked, because it was just popping. So I think it's a great question, Robert, and I think that NASCAR is obviously going to add up and subtract and do everything, but I am telling you, I will guarantee you the check that they wrote to build and dismantle that racetrack is significantly less than the check they would have to write to get all the exposure that they got that time of year. I'll guarantee it was Super Bowl week. We stayed in LA Live, which is right down by where the Lakers play and the Clippers play. The NFL Village was going on. It opened Saturday in LA Live. Yes, there were people wearing LA Rams shirts. There were also people wearing Denny Hamlin coats and Bubba Wallace caps and Kevin Harvick caps and Chase Elliott shirts and Kyle Larson jackets. Darndest thing I've seen, because you're down there where NFL Live or where the Super Bowl Live event is, and I'm telling you, there was a lot of NASCAR gear and a lot of people, and I'll say another thing. They weren't us 58-year-old white guys from the Midwest or the Northeast, okay? They were young kids of all race, of all ethnicity, and they were all into NASCAR. So, I mean, I don't know how much they spent. I'll tell you what, the check to get that buzz would have been a whole heck of a lot more than spending the money to build that racetrack and tear it back down. So, just phenomenal, just phenomenal. You know, it's just phenomenal, just absolutely phenomenal. You couldn't, if you want to attract, there was a section of USC students. There was a full section of USC students there, okay? I will guarantee, how many USC students do you think have ever gone to a NASCAR race? I would say we're closing in on 0, okay? I'm telling you, that section maybe had more fun than anybody else. They kind of stood out because they had far less clothing on than everyone else either. It was wild. Someone tweeted, and I wish I knew who it was because I've quoted this tweet. College girl, drunk on mimosas, listening to Ice Cube at a NASCAR race. Something we never thought we would see, but we had. I mean, it was nuts. I'm telling you, the buzz on this thing was insane out there. So insane. I went to a restaurant on Sunday night. It was a soul food place called Fixin's. It was great. Absolutely awesome. Waiter comes over. Can I help you? He got me my own sweet tea. You in town for the NASCAR? Yes, man, we've got a lot of NASCAR people in here this weekend. A lot of NASCAR people in here this weekend. That's all he said. We didn't talk about it. He didn't ask about the race. The TSA agent, were you here for the race? Yeah, he said, man, I tried everything to get out of work and to get to that race, and I couldn't get out of working because everyone else tried to get out of work to get to that race. Folks, that's a buzz that's tough to beat. Now, you know, and we all had a good time. So good stuff. I know, Robert, I've gotten way over top here, but that's fine. Robert Garcia is checking in from Suncrest Beach, Florida. Is it warm in Suncrest Beach, Florida, or is it cold? Because everyone else in Florida, it's cold and rainy. I don't know. There we go. Matthew says it's time to drop the hammer on dirt races tonight and the rest of the week. Matthew, tonight has been rained out. I'm sorry to break your heart. tonight at Volusia has been rained out. That's why I was asking about Seacrest Beach, Florida. Florida is freezing down there right now. Nice stuff, that's for sure. That is good. Good stuff, that's for sure. Hey, been a real pleasure to get in here and talk. I know we didn't have a lot to talk about. We are just, right now, it's arriving and going out the door, and arriving and going out the door. You know the website, www.circlebdiecast.com. You know what we have. You see the pre-orders coming in. I hope you're on the mailing list. If you're not on the emailing list, get on the emailing list so you can see all the new stuff coming in and get it ordered. Shirts, you got to move. You got to move. When they offer up a shirt, don't sit around and wait for a week and a half. You wait for a week and a half, it's too late. Got to move. Diecast, we all understand that takes a little bit longer than a week and a half. Just a little bit. Just a lot longer than a week and a half, to be honest. But we all understand how that goes. Get stuff pre-ordered. Get your stuff done. We won't charge your debit or credit card until it ships to you. Get everything done. Get everything ordered. The brand new diecast. If this diecast looks as good as this car, woo, man, you're just going to want to buy one of everything is what you're going to want. And just wipe out the entire collection you have, because these cars look good. Everything looks great. So there you have it. Sprint car diecast. We were just talking about that last week on the program. Late model diecast last week. Sprint cars the week before. It is all so good. We got so much good going on here. Use promo code MRN for free shipping. Promo code MRN for free shipping. So it is cool. Martinsburg, West Virginia. Bradley's checking in. I spent a little time in Martinsburg one time. I had a really good time there. I love your little town. That is for sure. And I love when we get a chance to talk. Now, here's what's going to happen next week. I'm going to get on a jet plane and on Tuesday and fly to Daytona. I meant to check on it before I showed up over here. I think I'll be in Daytona, but I'm not sure where I'll be at in the sequence of getting checked in, moved in, credentialed, processed, paperwork, tattooed, and stabbed and jabbed, and everything else we needed. No, we don't need to be jabbed. We don't need to be jabbed, at least as of right now, 2/24 on Tuesday. That was kind of a joke, and then I realized that in 2022, jabbed as a whole, it's not a joke anymore, because some of you are going to be screaming and hollering because I said jabbed one way or the other, or tried to, the reality of it is I don't know where I'm going to be. If I'm at a spot where I can grab a little time on my phone, I'll grab a little time on my phone, and we'll jump on here. If I'm not, then we'll just break down the Daytona 500 the following week. Is that a deal? Is that a deal? It is what it is. We do the best we can. I can only be in two places at one time. So, I don't even know about that. Anyhow, great stuff. Great catching up with you. Great talking about you. I'm so pumped up about the season. So pumped up about the season. Pumped up. I may have to wear one of these hats, take one of these hats down to Daytona. I might walk out of here with one of those babies in my hip pocket. But so glad you joined us. Hey, remember, all your diecast needs, www.circlebdiecast.com. I'm the postman from MRN. Thanks for joining us. Get your diecast, and let's get ready for racing season.